Did you know that most motorcycle riders waste hundreds, if not thousands, of dollars every year on completely avoidable repairs? Dealers charge for services you do not actually need, push overpriced products, and keep quiet about simple do-it-yourself fixes that could save you a fortune. In this video, I am counting down 13 simple motorcycle maintenance tips that will keep your bike running like new while saving you thousands of dollars in the long run. And trust me, tip number 1 is something even experienced riders often get wrong without realizing it is costing them big time. Number 13. Do not pay extra for nitrogen-filled tires. When you walk into a motorcycle shop for a routine tire service, you might hear the mechanic recommend nitrogen-filled tires. They will claim that nitrogen is superior to regular air because it keeps tire pressure more stable, improves fuel efficiency, and extends tire lifespan. While that might sound convincing, the reality is that nitrogen-filled tires are nothing more than an unnecessary upsell. The truth is, regular air already contains approximately 78% nitrogen. The remaining 22% consists of oxygen and trace gases, and the differences in performance between standard air and pure nitrogen are so small that they are virtually unnoticeable for the average rider. Mechanics push nitrogen because it allows them to charge you extra for something that has little impact on real-world riding. The supposed benefits of nitrogen, such as reducing the loss of tire pressure over time, are marginal at best. Unless you are riding at professional racing speeds where precise tire pressure adjustments can affect performance, nitrogen will not provide any significant advantages. The key to maintaining your tires is not paying for nitrogen, but regularly checking and adjusting your tire pressure using a reliable tire gauge. Keeping your tires inflated to the manufacturer's recommended pressure is what truly ensures even wear, optimal traction, and longer tire life. If you are looking to extend the life of your tires, focus on proper tire maintenance instead of unnecessary nitrogen fills. Regularly inspect your tires for cracks, punctures, and uneven wear. Rotate them as needed and make sure they are balanced correctly. Spending money on nitrogen will not magically improve your ride or make your tires last longer, but regular care and proper inflation certainly will. And while we are on the topic of avoiding unnecessary charges, let's move to another shop trick that costs you way too much. Number 12. Your brake fluid does not need changing every year. Brake fluid is one of the most critical fluids in your motorcycle, responsible for transmitting force from the brake lever to the calipers, allowing you to stop safely. Because of this, many motorcycle shops will insist that you need to flush and replace your brake fluid every single year. They claim that over time, the fluid absorbs moisture, which reduces braking performance and can even lead to failure. While there is some truth to this, the idea that brake fluid must be changed annually is more about making money than protecting your bike. Unless you are racing at high speeds or riding in extremely humid conditions, you do not need to replace your brake fluid every year. In fact, most manufacturers recommend changing it every 2 to 3 years instead. The reason brake fluid absorbs moisture is that it is hygroscopic, meaning it naturally pulls water from the air. However, unless you are exposing your bike to excessive humidity or moisture regularly, the rate at which this happens is slow enough that a yearly flush is unnecessary. The best way to determine if your brake fluid really needs to be replaced is to check it yourself. Simply look at the fluid inside your brake reservoir. If it is clear or light amber, it is still in good condition. If it has turned dark brown, looks cloudy, or has visible debris floating in it, then it is time for a flush. If you want to reduce how often you need to change your brake fluid, consider using high-quality brake fluids like Department of Transportation 4 or Department of Transportation 5.1. These resist moisture absorption better than lower-grade fluids, allowing you to extend the time between fluid changes without sacrificing performance. Now, while skipping unnecessary brake flushes saves money, ignoring this next tip could cost you thousands in repairs. Number 11. A few cents worth of anti-seize can prevent a nightmare. Have you ever tried to remove a bolt from your motorcycle only to find that it is completely stuck? If so, you know how frustrating and expensive this problem can be. Seized bolts can turn a simple repair into a costly nightmare, forcing you to use special tools, apply heat, or in extreme cases, pay a mechanic to drill out and replace the bolt. The worst part? Mechanics rarely warn you about this because they make money when riders cannot perform simple maintenance due to seized hardware. Fortunately, preventing this problem is incredibly easy and costs next to nothing. The secret: anti-seize compound. This inexpensive silver gray grease creates a protective barrier against moisture, corrosion, and extreme heat, keeping bolts from locking up over time. By applying just a small dab of anti-seize on key bolts like axle nuts, exhaust header bolts, spark plugs, and brake caliper bolts, you can ensure they remain easy to remove whenever necessary. Seized bolts are particularly common in bikes that are frequently exposed to rain, salty roads, or high temperatures. Over time, metal-on-metal contact can cause oxidation, effectively welding bolts in place. This is especially problematic for exhaust systems, wheel axles, and engine components. Once a bolt is stuck, removing it can take hours and might even damage surrounding parts. In some cases, riders are forced to replace entire sections of their bike simply because a bolt would not come loose. A single tube of anti-seize costs less than $10 and lasts for years, making it one of the cheapest and most effective ways to protect your motorcycle from unnecessary repairs. Applying it takes only a few seconds, but it can save you hundreds or even thousands of dollars by preventing damaged threads, broken bolts, and costly mechanic visits. And speaking of small tricks that save you big, let's talk about an easy way to extend your battery life. Number 10. Your battery can last over 5 years. One of the most common myths that motorcycle owners hear is that their battery will only last 2 years and then it must be replaced. Many mechanics will tell you this to ensure you keep coming back to buy a new one long before it is necessary. The truth is that a properly maintained motorcycle battery can last well beyond 5 years, sometimes even reaching 7 or 8 years before it needs replacing. The problem is not the battery itself, it is how it is maintained. If a battery sits unused for long periods, especially in cold weather, it will slowly discharge. Once it fully drains, it becomes much harder, if not impossible, to bring it back to life. The best way to extend your battery's life is by using a trickle charger when your bike is not in use for extended periods. A trickle charger keeps the battery topped up without overcharging it, preventing deep discharges that shorten its lifespan. If you do not have a trickle charger, the next best thing is to start your bike regularly and take it for a short ride to keep the battery active. Another important tip is to never allow your battery to fully drain. Just one full discharge can cause permanent damage, significantly reducing its ability to hold a charge. Keeping your battery terminals clean and free from corrosion also helps to ensure proper conductivity, reducing unnecessary strain on the system. By following these simple steps, you can keep your battery in peak condition for well over 5 years, avoiding frequent replacements and saving hundreds of dollars. But while keeping your battery charged is simple, this next hack is even easier, and it can double your chain's lifespan. Number 9. A simple toothbrush can extend your chain's life by thousands of miles. Most riders do not realize just how quickly dirt, grime, and road debris can destroy a motorcycle chain. The chain is constantly exposed to the elements, and if it is not cleaned regularly, the accumulated grit acts like sandpaper, grinding away at the metal and causing premature wear. Shops will happily sell you expensive chain cleaning tools, but the truth is you do not need any of that. A simple old toothbrush and some kerosene can do the job just as well, if not better. To clean your chain properly, start by applying a small amount of kerosene to a rag and wiping down the chain to remove surface grime. Then take an old toothbrush and gently scrub between the links, making sure to clean off any built-up dirt. Once the chain is clean, wipe it down again with a dry cloth to remove excess kerosene before applying fresh lubrication. Doing this once a month can easily double your chain's lifespan, preventing costly replacements and keeping your ride running smoothly. Many riders neglect chain maintenance until it is too late, resulting in stiff links, excessive wear, and even chain breakage. A well-maintained chain can last over 20,000 miles, but if it is ignored, you could be replacing it in half that time. A toothbrush and a few minutes of your time each month is all it takes to save yourself hundreds of dollars. And while cleaning your chain saves you money, so does choosing the right lubricant. But here's the secret mechanics won't tell you. Number 8. Stop wasting money on overpriced chain lube. Walk into any motorcycle shop and you will see shelves stocked with expensive, high-performance chain lubricants. Mechanics and salespeople will insist that you need these fancy, specially formulated products to keep your your chain in top condition. But here's what they will not tell you. You do not actually need them. Many professional riders and seasoned motorcycle enthusiasts have been using simple gear oil or high-quality synthetic motor oil for years, and it works just as well, if not better, than the overpriced aerosol cans sold in stores. The key to a long-lasting, smooth-running chain is not the brand of lubricant you use, but how consistently you apply it. Your chain needs regular lubrication around every 180 miles to prevent excessive wear, protect it from rust, and maintain smooth performance. A small bottle of gear oil costs a fraction of what those branded motorcycle lubricants do and keeps your chain just as protected. Some riders even swear by 90-weight gear oil, which clings well to the chain and provides excellent protection. However, one common mistake that many riders make is using water displacement Formula 40 as a lubricant. Water displacement Formula 40 is a degreaser, not a true lubricant, meaning that it will strip away existing lubrication rather than protect your chain. If you want to use it to clean your chain, that is fine, but always follow up with proper lubrication afterward. By skipping the unnecessary branded lubricants and opting for a more cost-effective alternative, you can save yourself a significant amount of money over time. Now, while a well-maintained chain keeps your ride smooth, ignoring this next tip could put your safety at risk. Number 7. Check your wheel bearings before they fail. One of the most overlooked yet critical components of your motorcycle is its wheel bearings. These small but essential parts ensure smooth rotation of your wheels and play a vital role in your bike's handling. Unfortunately, many riders do not think about their wheel bearings until it is too late, leading to poor handling, potential wheel lockups, and expensive repairs. The good news is that checking your wheel bearings is quick, easy, and can save you from unnecessary costs down the road. The easiest way to check your wheel bearings is by lifting your motorcycle's front or rear wheel off the ground using a paddock stand or a center stand. Once elevated, spin the wheel and listen carefully. If the wheel spins smoothly and quietly, your bearings are likely in good condition. However, if you hear grinding, clicking, or any form of resistance, it is a sign that your wheel bearings are wearing out. Another way to check for bad wheel bearings is by grabbing the wheel on both sides and attempting to move it side to side. If you notice any noticeable wobbling, then your bearings are either loose or failing. Replacing wheel bearings before they completely fail can save you hundreds of dollars in potential damages to your wheel, axle, or even your suspension. A new set of bearings is inexpensive and much easier to replace than repairing a wheel hub that has been damaged due to neglect. If you catch a problem early, you can perform a straightforward replacement yourself or have it done at a fraction of the cost compared to waiting until the issue worsens. And while catching bad wheel bearings early prevents costly repairs, this next tip can save you from an expensive cooling system failure. Number 6. Flushing your coolant is easier than you think. Coolant plays an essential role in keeping your engine at an optimal temperature, preventing overheating and ensuring a long engine life. However, many mechanics make a coolant flush seem like a highly complicated task, often charging over $100 for what is actually a simple process that can be done at home with basic tools. Performing a coolant flush yourself will not only save you money, but also ensure that your cooling system is properly maintained without unnecessary shop visits. Coolant does not need to be changed as frequently as some mechanics claim. Many shops recommend an annual flush, but in reality, most motorcycles only need a coolant change every 2 years, sometimes even longer depending on the type of coolant used. Before replacing the coolant, check your owner's manual for the recommended interval and type of coolant best suited for your bike. To perform a coolant flush, first ensure your engine is completely cool before beginning. Locate the coolant drain bolt on your radiator or water pump and place a drain pan underneath. Remove the bolt and allow the old coolant to fully drain. To ensure all contaminants are removed, flush the system by running distilled water through it, then drain it again. Once the system is clean, refill it with fresh, high-quality motorcycle-specific coolant. Do not use regular automotive antifreeze as it can damage seals and lead to costly repairs. Finally, run the bike for a few minutes to allow air bubbles to escape, then check the coolant level again to ensure proper filing. By taking the time to flush your coolant yourself, you are saving money and preventing future engine overheating issues that could result in expensive repairs. And speaking of easy do-it-yourself fixes, here is a trick that can save you hundreds on suspension repairs. Number 5. Most fork seal leaks are not real leaks. A leaking fork seal is often seen as an immediate need for an expensive repair, and mechanics are quick to recommend a costly fork rebuild. However, in many cases, what appears to be a leaking fork seal is not actually a damaged seal at all. Instead, it is often dirt and debris trapped under the seal, making it look as though the fork is leaking when, in reality, a simple and inexpensive fix can restore your suspension to perfect condition. Before you commit to a costly repair, try this method first. Using a thin plastic card, a feeler gauge, or a specialized seal-mate tool, carefully slide it under the fork seal and gently work it around the fork tube. This will dislodge any dirt or debris that has become trapped, allowing the seal to sit properly again. 9 times out of 10, this simple method stops the leak instantly. After cleaning the seal, pump the suspension a few times to check if the leak has stopped. If the problem persists, then it may be time for an actual fork rebuild, but in many cases, this quick $5 fix is all you need. Keeping your fork seals clean and free of dirt is one of the best ways to prolong the life of your suspension and avoid unnecessary repair costs. Regularly wiping down your fork tubes and using a seal cleaner when needed can prevent buildup that leads to false leaks. A well-maintained suspension not only saves you money, but also keeps your ride smooth and stable. And while that hack saves you from unnecessary labor costs, this next one can keep your bike's electrical system in perfect shape. Number 4. Use dielectric grease to avoid electrical gremlins. One of the most frustrating things a motorcycle rider can experience is an unexpected electrical failure. One day, everything seems fine, and the next, your headlight flickers, your ignition struggles to start, or your engine misfires for no apparent reason. These mysterious electrical issues can lead to costly diagnostics and unnecessary part replacements, all because of a problem that could have been prevented with a simple and inexpensive solution: dielectric grease. Dielectric grease is a silicone-based compound that acts as an insulator, protecting electrical connections from moisture, dirt, and corrosion. Water and oxidation are the biggest enemies of your bike's electrical system, causing weak sparks, intermittent failures, or complete breakdowns over time. The best part? A tiny amount of dielectric grease applied to key electrical connections can keep these issues from ever happening. To use dielectric grease effectively, apply a small dab to the inside of spark plug boots before reconnecting them. This prevents moisture from seeping in and causing misfires. Additionally, coat battery terminals lightly to stop corrosion buildup, which can weaken your bike's starting power. You can also use it on ignition switch connections, fuse box terminals, and any electrical plugs exposed to the elements. Many motorcycle mechanics will never tell you about this trick because electrical failures bring in a lot of business. Riders who don't take preventive measures often end up paying for unnecessary battery replacements, new ignition coils, or complete rewiring jobs. Dielectric grease is incredibly affordable, with a single tube lasting for years. Investing just a few dollars can save you from expensive electrical repairs that could easily cost hundreds of dollars over time. And if you think that's a lifesaver, wait until you hear about this next trick. It's a mistake almost every do-it-yourself mechanic makes. Number 3. Do not over-tighten your oil drain plug. Changing your motorcycle's oil is one of the most basic maintenance tasks a rider can do, but there is one mistake that can turn a routine oil change into a costly repair: over-tightening the oil drain plug. Most riders assume that the tighter the plug, the better the seal, but that is far from the truth. In reality, over-tightening your oil drain plug can strip the threads, seize the bolt, or in the worst cases, crack the oil pan itself. When the oil drain plug is over-tightened, it can crush the sealing washer, reducing its ability to form a proper seal. Over time, this can lead to slow oil leaks that worsen and require expensive repairs. Even worse, if the threads on the oil pan get stripped, you might need to install a helic oil insert or, in extreme cases, replace the entire oil pan, which can cost hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on your motorcycle model. The correct way to tighten your oil drain plug is to follow the manufacturer's torque specification, which can be found in your service manual. A torque wrench is the best tool for this job because it ensures that the plug is tightened just enough without going overboard. If you do not have a torquey wrench, a good rule of thumb is to tighten the plug by hand until it is snug and then give it a small additional turn, no more than a quarter to a half turn. Many riders unknowingly make this mistake because mechanics rarely warn them about it. In fact, some shops benefit from riders damaging their oil pans because that means an expensive repair visit. By using the correct torque and replacing the crush washer, you can avoid this unnecessary expense entirely. But while that is an easy mistake to avoid, this next one is something shops absolutely love overcharging you for. Number 2, do not fall for the replace your air filter scam. Every motorcycle engine needs a clean and sufficient air supply to function efficiently. Over time, air filters collect dust, dirt, and debris, restricting airflow and potentially reducing engine performance. Mechanics often take advantage of this by convincing riders that their air filter needs to be replaced at every service visit, even when it is still in good condition. What they do not tell you is that many air filters can be cleaned and reused instead of replaced, saving you money every time you do maintenance. There are 3 main types of motorcycle air filters: paper, foam, and fabric. Paper filters are the most common and are usually disposable, but in many cases they can be extended by simply blowing them out with compressed air. Foam and fabric filters, on the other hand, are designed to be washed, dried, and re-oiled, allowing them to last for many years before needing replacement. Cleaning your air filter is a simple process. If you have a foam or cotton gauze filter, remove it from the airbox. Wash it with warm water and mild soap or a specialized filter cleaner. Let it dry completely and then apply the appropriate filter oil. This process restores airflow efficiency and ensures your engine gets the air it needs while keeping out harmful contaminants. The only time an air filter should be replaced immediately is if it is physically torn, soaked with oil, or completely clogged beyond cleaning. Always inspect your filter before agreeing to a replacement at a shop. In many cases, a simple cleaning will restore it to optimal performance. And now for the number 1 maintenance trick that can save you the most money and prevent one of the most expensive repairs. Number 1, check your valve clearance before paying for an adjustment. One of the most expensive routine maintenance tasks a mechanic can recommend is a valve clearance adjustment. This service can cost hundreds of dollars, but here is what many mechanics will not tell you. Your motorcycle may not even need it yet. Some shops push early valve adjustments simply to pad the bill, even when the bike is running perfectly fine. Motorcycle engines rely on precise valve clearance to ensure proper airflow and fuel combustion. Over time, valves can gradually tighten or loosen, affecting performance. However, most modern motorcycles do not require frequent valve adjustments, and the service intervals can be as high as 20,000 miles to 30,000 miles. The first sign that your valves may need adjustment is if your bike develops a ticking noise, especially when idling. Other warning signs include loss of power, difficulty starting, or poor fuel efficiency. If your motorcycle is running smoothly, does not exhibit these symptoms, and is well within the service interval, there is no urgent need for an adjustment. Before agreeing to a costly valve service, check your owner's manual for the correct inspection interval. If your bike is not showing any warning signs, you can wait until the proper mileage threshold before worrying about an adjustment. Many riders have been tricked into unnecessary valve jobs simply because they did not know better. And there you have it, 13 simple maintenance tips that can keep your bike running strong and your wallet full. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.